I am 24 years old and I have never drank in my life. And I don't say this with any sense of pride because I think there should be none in not consuming alcohol unless you're trying to quit alcohol actively. Like, I don't think I am better than anyone because I don't do this one thing that other people do. The point of this video isn't to look down on people who drink alcohol or minimize the issue our youth is facing with alcohol to just we are a rotten generation. I don't think that is true. We are not a rotten generation. That is something that is told to us so many times. I have a younger sibling and I have nephews in my family. And ever since I've moved out of my house, I have noticed this very almost weird reaction to me telling people that I don't drink, which has made me quite concerned. I'll give you some context. I am from Delhi and I grew up in this is something I've spoken about before in a video, but I grew up in a fairly South Delhi area, and I had friends that were into trying out different stuff. But my close group of people, we were not only never into drinking or partying, it's not even something we missed out on because we have high morals, because I think it does not come down to moral. Not drinking, not partying, it's not about morals. I don't see them as one thing. It's about choice. It's about your personal choice. And it's your life. You want to party, you should party. If you want to drink, you should drink. So I did not grow up in a surrounding where it was almost weird if you did not drink, or it was weird if you did not smoke. But now, ever since I've moved to Bangalore, that is what I see. Anytime I bring up the fact that I don't drink, I don't smoke, the conversation becomes awkward. And it's not because I try to make it awkward, but the reaction from other people, it's like almost as if I am pretending to be better than them or something, because the conversation further goes into, oh, why do you not drink? Have you ever tried? Do you want to try? One person literally asked me if I want to try for the first time with them, which didn't make it awkward. But I don't think they had bad intentions. If someone else is drinking and I am not, they become awkward because I think maybe they think that I'm not drinking for a reason. Could be I'm recovering from something, or religious reasons even. So them having a drink and trying to talk to me almost becomes awkward for them, which I don't think should be a thing. As well as a lot of hangouts here are around smoking and drinking together. A lot of the times when I get asked to hang out with someone, they're like, do you want to smoke with me? Do you want to go and have a smoke with me? Which again, I don't mind being around people who smoke, but when I tell them, oh yeah, let's go, but I don't smoke, it's like the whole vibe changes, which has been very weird for me. And same with going out. I have gone out for hangouts with my colleagues, with my team, with some friends, and again, to bars and stuff. Again, I have gone. I love mocktails. Give me a guava punch. If a place has a guava punch, I am going. I don't have any issues with them. But then again, it feels like I am sticking out like a sore thumb when people are taking shots and I'm just sitting there with my mocktail. To the point, this actually happened. I was out for a team dinner and everyone is ordering their cocktails, their drinks, their food. I am trying to find the mocktails on the menu because I love mocktails. I couldn't find it because they did not write it with an explicit heading of mocktails. This was like a fancy bar/restaurant kind of thing. So they had written it in some other language. And for some reason, even looking at the drinks, I could not tell if these are mocktails or cocktails. So I asked the waiter, normal thing that I should be doing. Even like my boss asked me what I want. I said I could not find the mocktails. So then they take the menu from me and they're like, oh, they must have mocktails. They tried to find it, they couldn't find it. So I said, yeah, I don't think they have mocktails. Let's just ask the waiter. I turn around, the waiter is behind me because this is a big table. I turn around and ask, hey, do you have mocktails? The waiter legit goes, mocktails? I don't know what he meant. If he was like, he couldn't hear me, maybe that could totally be a thing. Or maybe he was like, I don't know, maybe he himself was trying to remember if they have mocktails. I don't know what was that reaction. But I've had enough conversations about me not drinking that it has become, even in that party, one of my colleagues again came up to me and they were pretty buzzed by this point. This coworker comes up to me and they just start chatting with me, and we are from the same area in Delhi. So they start just sharing information about a lot of their life, which they wouldn't do if they weren't drunk. So they just start talking to me about their life, and then they ask me, so you've never drunk? Not even once? You've never had it? Good. I respect you so much. You should never start. Meanwhile, they're drinking. They're like, you should never drink. It's not good for you. Again, I could not care less if you drink or don't drink, unless you're directly connected to me or related to me. For example, I wouldn't want my partner to be big on drinking. Maybe they are a social drinker. That would be fine with me. But if they are a person who needs a drink every single night or every other night, or if it is a thing that they only hang out when drinks are involved, that just wouldn't work out for me. But needing to have this conversation again and again and again on why I don't drink it's like the table is flipped. I need to explain to people why I don't drink, because I never go around and ask anyone why they do drink or when they started drinking or how they started drinking or anything like that. It's not a thing that I even considered doing. It's not like an active choice that I'm making to stay against it. I don't know how to put it very in better terms. I think one of the biggest issues in why we see so much drinking in youngsters is the normalization of it and the accessibility of it, especially in our tier 1 cities. And it's a thing that you always hear from your parents, especially in India, that don't develop these vices when you're in a building, growing stage of your career or of your life. Once you're settled in, you have stuff in place, you can start drinking, you can do whatever you want. That is a very common thing. ये कर लो, फिर जो मर्जी करना है वो करो. I feel if you wouldn't start drinking at a young age of 14 years, stats say that some kids here are starting to drink at the age of 14 years. I have a hypothesis that it would be rare that you start later in life in your 30, 32. And even if you do start, I don't think you would build such a dependency on it. But again, I have never drunk. I have never had a drink. I have never had to struggle with what it is like to be dependent on alcohol. And I'm not saying the people who drink even a little bit, they're dependent on alcohol. They really are not. So I think after so much rambling, I saw a video by Emma Chamberlain, and not a video by Emma Chamberlain. I listened to a podcast, and she was talking about how dependent she became on alcohol, especially during COVID, which I believe has been a very difficult point in a lot of people's life. And I can only imagine if you were like a social drinker or a casual drinker, the stress of COVID, the immense damage it would have done to your habits. And same happened with Emma Chamberlain. She mentioned how she would be making drinks at 5 p.m. And it makes me deeply sad because she moved to LA when she was 17. And I can only imagine the kind of crowd she was with and the habits that she fell into because she got to popularity at a very young age, which is not something historically proven. If you see any of the child actors that have been coming out with their stories about how difficult it is to be a child actor, I think success as a child, success in career as a child has a lot of the similar pairings as the child actors mentioned. And I can only imagine the stuff she went through to be where she is. And now seeing her being a grown up and, making those decisions very actively. And also, that decision isn't really active because I think she has developed an allergy to alcohol almost, because she mentioned she'd get rashes and stuff if she had any amount of alcohol. That combined with her just understanding how much dependent on alcohol she was, she has decided to quit, which is a commendable thing. I think the willpower you need to have to do it. And I saw another video. I've been watching a lot of videos on people becoming sober because I wanted to understand what's the difference from a perspective of a person who has been on both sides of the coin. So I was watching Mold. She's a vegan food content creator. She quit vaping and smoking, and she quit drinking. She mentions how she was worried this is, alcohol is the bond of her social interactions. And she was worried that it's gonna change when she gets off of alcohol. But she quit it for a whole year. And I'd recommend watching her videos to get the perspective from someone else who has, again, been on both sides of the conversation. And she mentions that alcohol almost became the scope for her social anxiety because, and this is totally what she mentions. I'm not projecting this on her. This is something she herself mentions explicitly in the video, that she thinks she never learned how to truly cope with social anxiety. Just that liquid courage of alcohol would give her enough leeway to have social interactions, talk to people, which put a lot of things in perspective for me. Because I have a lot of social anxiety, but I do feel anxious. In a lot of situations, I do feel stressed. And I overthink a lot. Sometimes I do feel if there was a way to just stop the spiral of thoughts that I get into, sometimes trying to interact with other people, trying to get daily tasks done. That sounds ideal. That sounds magic, doesn't it? That there is this drink that would help you get over your stress, your social anxiety. You wouldn't have to think thoughts that you don't want to think. And if you drink it enough, whatever you do, you don't even remember it the next day. Almost sounds like magic, doesn't it? Like a magic potion you'd get in a game or something. Sadly, it's not magic. It's very real. And it isn't so pleasant as people make it sound. Again, quoting Mold, she said in her video that she would almost lose the next day if she drank because she'd be hungover, of course. After the night of drinking, you'd be hungover the next day. Then there is another video I saw by Anna Wallace Johnson. Again, I'll link all of these videos and clips that I'm talking about. She also quit drinking. Some of the pointers she mentions about culture, her moving to New York in a city, trying to live the city life. It's so entangled. Living the city life is so entangled with alcohol, which kind of clicked with me. That is when I was like, oh, and I'm not in New York. I wish, but it was like, oh, just this persona of city life, being a city girl, is so tied with alcohol. That is why it sounds very weird to people when I say I have never drank, because I've lived in Delhi. Now I'm in Bangalore, two of the biggest party cities. People have a lot of stereotypes about the kind of people that live in those cities. It's almost surprising to people to see that I am not the persona that they have built up in their mind. So I'm not doing anything revolutionary. I am just not fitting a stereotype. It kind of clicked in my head at that moment. And I have been getting suggested a lot of sobriety videos. And the most common thing I hear is people start drinking because other people around them are drinking. And that they started at a very young age with the people, with their friends, with their, even sometimes their families. In a lot of cultures, it is very normal to drink with your family, which again, I cannot emphasize this enough. I do not think alcohol should be a taboo. Most of things shouldn't be a taboo. And I don't know about anything enough to say this is totally, completely bad. Don't touch it ever. Or say this is 100% good. Always have it. Something Anna mentions that she only started drinking because she wanted to live that city life. I think she also quit because she started to develop these rashes, almost like an allergy to alcohol. But yeah, she has been sober for some time. I'd recommend watching her video again. So if you're someone like me who has moved to a new city, experiencing new people, I'd say never lose the sight of who you are. Don't do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing, no matter how much friction you get against it, how many awkward conversations you have to have. And this goes in all ways. Express yourself how you want to, and don't give in to the pressure of if everyone else is doing it, could it be that bad? If you find it fine, then it's fine. If you find it okay, then it is okay. But if the only reason you're doing something is because you don't want to have that awkward conversation with someone, I think that there is your answer. Maybe don't do things for other people. Have the courage to do things for only yourself. Have the courage to go against the grain a bit. Be ready to have awkward conversations. Be ready to be so self-confident that, yeah, this is something I don't do and there is no deeper meaning to it. It's just something I don't do. I don't want to do it. Or have the courage to say with your whole chest that this is something I do. This is something I like, and you may not like doing it, but these are the reasons why I'm doing it, and I'm gonna do it for in whatever stage, phase, area of your life you're in. Don't give in to the pressure. I think I'm just truly feeling like I'm speaking to my nephews and my siblings, because people will tell you a lot of things. And remember, these are also people your age trying to figure life out. None of us have figured it out, but they'll tell you a lot of things, and they'll tell you with the confidence of 100-year-old monk. No one has life figured out. So figure it out for yourself. This is your own unique experience. Figure it out for yourself. See what you want to do, see what you don't want to do, and be confident. If you make a decision, be confident in it. And yeah, I think this was just sort of weighing on my mind very weirdly, the state of our the state of socialization we are in. We have developed so many vices. We live an addictive lifestyle, be it our phones, our screens, the content that we consume, the food that we consume. There is an abundance of everything. We are in a blessed time of humanity where there's a lot of cooked food fresh available for you. You don't have to do anything. There is no boredom. You're not sitting around thinking, what should I do? There is infinite entertainment available at your fingertips behind the screen. So I think moderation and discipline becomes even more integral, and having that personal sense of self becomes that much more important, because if you don't know who you are, you don't know what you stand for, decisions become increasingly hard. I bet you. And everyone is giving opinions like they know everything. They don't. And most of all, they don't know you. They do not know you, right? So I think make that decision for yourself. Yeah, I hope one day my nephews are able to have this conversation with me and I am able to tell them that this is a phase everyone goes through. You'll have a lot of pulls in all directions. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. See within yourself. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing well.